It all began when the German Archbishop Reinald von Dassel brought the supposed bones of the three wise men from Milan to Cologne in the year 1164. A valuable shrine with gold figures, stone trimmings, and a pictorial history was made for these bones, but their placement was not enough for the flow of pilgrims to some of the most precious relics of Christianity. The plan was born to build one of the most remarkable Gothic cathedrals of humankind, taking a staggering 600 years to finish. Please stay with us as we reveal the fascinating story and all the construction secrets of the incredible Cathedral of Cologne in Germany. This is Megalith. Please subscribe and never miss an update on humankind's best mega projects. Regarded as the greatest expression of German Gothic architecture, Cologne Cathedral, along with Chartres Cathedral and Notre-Dame Cathedral in France, is one of Western Europe's most famous medieval sites of Christian art. This superlative building is 157 meters tall and is the world's third largest Gothic-style cathedral. It is also Germany's most popular monument of medieval art. With its enormous twin spires adorned with gem sculptures, the Cologne Cathedral is known for having the largest facade of any church in the world. The southern section was built in the 19th century, while the western, used as an entrance, begun in 1330. Due to its remarkable Gothic architecture, UNESCO declared Cologne Cathedral a World Heritage Site in 1996. Bombarded more than 80 times during World War II, everything in this cathedral is handmade and is the result of centuries of work. This imposing Christian Gothic masterpiece is the result of one of the longest projects in history, spanning many generations. Commissioned by Conrad von Hochstaden, Archbishop of Cologne from 1238 to 1261, the cathedral was completed in 1880, more than 6 centuries since the construction itself began around 1248. In between lie more than 600 years of exciting construction history with many challenges, setbacks, and a very, very long break. Some 300,000 tons of stones were used in its construction. Stonemasons and stone sculptors played a critical role because of the extensive amount of conservation work that needs to be done. About 100 people from the Cathedral Masonry Office work every day to maintain the cathedral as Germany's most popular landmark. The black patina has been a characteristic feature of Cologne Cathedral for centuries and is due to weathering, soot, and biofouling. Maintenance costs per day add up to a staggering 30,000 euros. When the cathedral is finished, the world will end, is an old Cologne saying. Even after the 632 years of construction, the work continues on God's eternal building site. But what remarkable features and events are responsible for its construction to take more than 600 years to complete? It all began when the Archbishop of Cologne supposedly brought the bones of the three wise men from Milan to Cologne in 1164. Between 1190 and 1225, a valuable shrine with gold figurines, stone trimmings, and a pictorial history was made for these bones. This shrine is visible to this date in the interior of the cathedral. Soon after, the modest old cathedral became one of the most important pilgrimage churches in Europe, for which a more worthy architecture was necessary. Master Gerhard was the first master builder of Cologne Cathedral, and he probably worked only a few years on the planning and the ground plan. The cathedral was designed according to the northern French model and the most modern architectural style of the time, the Gothic style. The foundation stone was laid in 1248 by Archbishop Conrad von Hochstaden. By then, Rayonnant forms of Gothic art had spread rapidly across the borders of France and were quickly adopted in the leading commercial cities. Cologne, like its contemporary Strasbourg, became one of the principal centers for the elaboration of Rayonnant Gothic. So much so that, unlike most similar German buildings, it's difficult to recognize any holdovers of the Germanic tradition. The plan of the cathedral is in the shape of a Latin cross and has 2 aisles on either side, a feature taken from Paris or Bourget, which supports one of the highest Gothic vaults ever built, being almost as tall as that of Beauvais Cathedral, the tallest in the world until its collapse in 1284. Work on the cathedral continued in the decades thereafter, although there were repeated interruptions due to war and financial difficulties. Construction of the choir was completed in the 14th century, and the foundation for the South Tower was laid in 1360. In 1448 and 49, the 2 bells Pretiosa and Specchiosa were cast, which are still part of the cathedral's set of bells. In the late 15th century, construction work continued with the transept, the side aisles, and the North Tower. In the 16th century, however, work on the cathedral was interrupted due to the Reformation and the 30 Years' War and was not resumed until the 19th century, when Prussia annexed the Rhineland and the city of Cologne became part of the Prussian state. The break in construction lasted more than 300 years. Under the direction of the architect Ernst Friedrich Zerner, extensive restoration work was carried out from 1842 by the Cathedral Masonry Office, during which work also began on the reconstruction of the North Tower, which had collapsed in the 18th century. The cathedral's interior was consecrated in 1848. Work on Cologne Cathedral was finally finished in 1880. At that time, the cathedral had a height of 157 meters, making it the tallest building in the world after a total of 632 years of construction. And what about the incredible artistic treasures housed within the doors of this magnificent cathedral? Cologne Cathedral is known for its drawn-out origins and long period of construction, as well as for many important works of art that you can see in the cathedral and its treasure chamber, such as the Shrine of the Three Kings, which contains the relics of the Magi, as is the 4th century St. Peter's staff, which can be seen in the cathedral's underground treasure chamber, along with numerous other reliquaries. Home to numerous exceptional altarpieces, the basilica is no less than a museum. Behind the high altar in the cathedral chapel, visitors will see the oldest stained glass window, which dates back to the 13th century, and it's known as the earliest preserved Bible window in Germany. Moreover, the Cologne Cathedral houses the earliest representation of the crucifixion in Western art, a carved-in-oak Gera crucifix which dates back to the 970s, and is well known as the oldest surviving monumental sculpture. The patron saints of Cologne, an altarpiece created by Stefan Lochner, the most prominent artist of his time in Cologne, decorates the Chapel of the Virgin, while a stained glass placed in the south transept adds a modern touch to the basilica. Created by the renowned German artist Gerhard Richter, the contemporary art piece consists of over 11,000 identically sized glass pieces in 72 colors. Finally, it's said that the exquisite wooden statue that depicts the Virgin Mary holding the Jesus child has miraculous powers. A successful interplay of tradition and modernity is hidden under the roof of the cathedral. Contrary to what you might assume, the rafters of the cathedral's roof are not made of wood, but of iron. During World War II, the cathedral was hit by 70 firebombs and 14 highly explosive bombs. Thankfully, its size and recognizable construction saved it from being destroyed, as it served as a reference point for pilots flying over the city. The iron truss holding the structure was the largest steel structure in the world in 1860, 30 years before the completion of the Eiffel Tower. To this day, it still carries the heavy lead roof. By 1948, the choir and the transept were already restored, but it took more years for the west wing and the facade to be fully recovered. Luckily, despite the numerous attacks, the cathedral's original design was preserved, and until today it remains an excellent amalgam of Gothic architecture and Neo-Gothic revival of the 19th century. Today, the cathedral is Cologne's second tallest structure, surpassed only by its main telecommunications tower. The cathedral and Cologne simply belong together, and the church shapes the cityscape. To a Cologne resident, the sight of the cathedral spire says that you're home. Thank you for watching. We are Megalith. Please subscribe and turn on notifications for more of the best mega projects worldwide.